Truth or dare, my boyfriend's girl best friend sat right down on his lap and asked him if he had ever had a crush on me. Not only did my boyfriend not push her away, he even gave a doting smile and said, "Do our feelings for each other still need a had a crush on me?" My face darkened. I thought about getting up to leave, but Lilia pulled my hand and said, "You're not mad, are you? Why be so petty? We're just messing around like brothers." That weekend, my boyfriend Jake took me and a few of his friends camping. In the evening, with nothing much to do, someone suggested we play truth or dare. Lilia, Jake's best female friend, chose dare. Dare, huh? Let's go big. Lilia, pick one of the guys here and confess your feelings to them. Oh, come on, you guys, don't mess with me. Lilia laughed, glanced at Jake, and then sat right down on his lap. Jake, have you ever had a crush on me? Not only did Jake not push her away, he even gave a doting smile. Do our feelings for each other still need a had a crush on me? The others watched on, cheering them on, completely oblivious to my darkened face. To my surprise, Lilia escalated. She kissed Jake on the cheek and said triumphantly to the others, acting nonchalant, "Well, how about that? This round was pretty wild, huh?" "That's wild, you really went for it." "What's wrong? Jake's my best bro. I wouldn't play like this with anyone else." Lilia pouted. Jake also smoothed things over for Lilia. Someone I wouldn't even look twice at, with nothing going on. I'd rather date a guy, right? Lilia slapped Jake on the back, then hooked her arm around Jake's neck. If something was going to happen between us, it would have already. Do you really think he'd be with his current girlfriend if we were meant to be? Everyone burst into laughter. That's enough, it's getting boring, I said, getting up to leave. But Lilia grabbed my hand. You're not mad, are you? Why be so petty? We're all brothers, just messing around. I was about to snap back at her fiercely when my phone ringing rang at the most inconvenient time. I saw the caller ID was Chloe. My bestie, I said. Sorry, I need to take this call. With that, I went back to my tent. Chloe asked how things were going, and I told her everything, piece by piece. She told me not to leave. She'd be right over. Back among them, I told Jake. Chloe said she wants to come too. Sure, does she have a boyfriend? Lilia immediately perked up. Mia, let me tell you, besides Jake and these guys, I don't have any other men around. You should introduce me to someone sometime. Lilia said, familiar as ever, putting her arm around my neck. I rolled my eyes. Someone at your level needs my help? I spent about half an hour as a background prop, watching Jake and Lilia acting all lovey-dovey under the guise of being just bros, when Chloe arrived. She also brought a guy, clean-cut, refined, and wearing gold-rimmed glasses. It was Ethan, an upperclassman of mine. Oh, look, a handsome guy. Lilia's eyes lit up. She stood up and walked over to Ethan, extending her hand. Hi, I'm Lilia, Mia's friend. I thought to myself, TSK, look at her. When she introduced herself to me, she said she was Jake's bro. Now in front of Ethan, she's Mia's friend. Ethan smiled and his eyes sparkled. He walked past Lilia and straight up to me. Chloe said you were bored, so I just came along. Is that okay? Of course. I smiled and shook my head. Lilia, a bit embarrassed, pulled her hand back and walked over to Ethan, sitting down right next to her. Of course we don't mind. The more the merrier. Ethan didn't respond to Lilia. Instead, he handed me a hot chocolate. It's chilly tonight. Here, warm your hands. This is my girlfriend, Jake said, seeing Ethan's attentive gesture towards me. He frowned, showing his displeasure. You've got it wrong. I just see Mia as a little sister. Ethan's eyes curved, and he smiled as gentle as a spring breeze. My goodness, I never noticed Ethan was so intense before. I leaned closer to Chloe and whispered. Why did you bring Ethan too? When you called me, he was right next to me. He heard you were being bullied and just came along. Guess what he said? He said someone like Lilia needed to be put in her place. I covered my mouth to stifle a laugh. Everyone was here now. The show's about to begin, so I guess I'll have to put on a performance. Okay, I said. Truth or dare is still on. The spin the bottle or similar game device landed on me. Truth or dare? Mike and Ben asked. Well. I glanced at Lilia. Dare, I guess. Everyone's really letting loose today. Ben clapped his hands, excited. Pick someone here and do a partner dance with them. Ben looked at Jake as he spoke, probably hoping to help us reconcile and use this dare to reconcile, but I had no intention of doing so. I took Ethan's hand. May I? Ethan paused visibly. He looked at Jake, then quickly recovered, putting on his usual smiling demeanor. We danced under Jake and Lilia's watchful eyes, while Chloe clapped and cheered. I gave Jake a conciliatory smile. You never learned to dance, so I picked Ethan. You don't mind, do you? I saw Jake's face twitch. Ethan shook his head. Jake certainly wouldn't be that petty. Lilia then started acting out again. Exactly, it's just fun to be close. Jake and I used to do this all the time when we were kids. Oh Mia, you wouldn't believe it. Jake used to dance shirtless for me when we were little. Lilia, are you crazy? You're embarrassing me. Jake shouted at Lilia, but this time, he wasn't doting on Lilia like before. To say Jake was jealous of me would be false. At best, it was just that I was getting attention from someone else, and Jake, as my boyfriend, was just standing there, blinking, unable to stomach it. And then Lilia embarrassed him again, so of course he was upset. Lilia was stunned by the scolding. She probably never expected Jake to tell her she was crazy in front of so many people. Lilia's eyes widened in disbelief. Jake, it's just a dance. Do you have to be so dramatic? Jake's friends, seeing the situation, awkwardly tried to comfort her. Oh, Lilia just speaks without thinking. Don't take it to heart. Then Chloe spoke up. Yeah, you can't blame Lilia for her low emotional intelligence and can't speak properly, ruining the mood. I immediately chimed in. No, Chloe, don't say that. Lilia is probably just used to being undisciplined since childhood. Actually, it's pretty good, natural beauty. Unlike me, who has to study art and intern at my mom's company, annoyingly busy. I really envy Lilia. I added another sentence. Lilia's face was twisting in anger. Jake, beside her, wasn't faring any better. He stared at me with wide eyes. I knew he must be thinking, Mia, your mom has a company? Why didn't you tell me? Mia, why didn't you ever tell me about your family? Huh, you didn't know? Chloe pretended to be surprised. Mia's mom is the CEO of Everest Group. Ethan and I both know that. Jake's friend's eyes lit up. He nudged Lilia, who was sitting next to him. Hey Lilia, the Everest Group heiress is not bothering to argue with you, and you're still making a fuss. You've completely embarrassed yourself. Another friend chimed in, and the tide had completely turned. Lilia pointed at her friend's nose, then looked at me. Oh, so what if they have a few bucks? What do you mean? So what if they have a few bucks? Jake switched sides to defend me. They're a huge company. I suggest you watch your words. Mia is my precious girlfriend, so don't try to seek attention here. If you keep being so unreasonable, just get out. I said, delighted. Jake, don't scold Lilia. It's my fault. I don't want you two to argue because of me. I actually really like Lilia. Lilia is your childhood friend. And I wanted to be friends with her and get along. I didn't expect Lilia can't stand me. Maybe I'm not good enough. Lilia, apologize to Mia now. Jake, hearing me say this, kept pulling Lilia, demanding she apologize. But how could Lilia swallow her pride? She flipped him off, muttered idiot, and went back to her tent alone. Jake was stunned by the insult, perhaps because he and Lilia had never had a falling out like this before. Jake's friends, seeing the situation, started to ease the tension again. Come on everyone, let's keep playing. Don't mind Lilia, let her be. That's not right. I frowned. Lilia is mad because of me. Jake, you should go comfort her. I'm fine, I have Chloe and Ethan with me. No way. Jake instantly became wary when he heard Ethan's name. Who is Lilia anyway? She can't compare to my precious Mia. Really? I asked. What if Lilia hears you say that? I knew Lilia was listening in the tent, so I deliberately asked this. If she hears it, she hears it. Who cares about that tomboy? I heard something drop inside the tent. Lilia must have been throwing things. That night, Chloe and I slept in the Lily tent. Suddenly, my phone lit up with a message from Jake's associated social media account. Before, I believed in having a certain amount of privacy with Jake and hadn't paid much attention to his accounts. But when I saw the familiar name pop up in the message bar, I couldn't help but open it. Lilia had sent Jake a bunch of messages. Jake, I was wrong today, I apologize, but I really don't like your girlfriend. Because of her, you've lost patience with me. I wish we could go back to how it was before you had a girlfriend. That was so much better, Jake. You big jerk, prioritizing a girl over your friends. Mia is too so calculating, and involved with other men. Do you even want me as a bro anymore? Break up with Mia, it's for your own good. What can I say? I ignored her and didn't use Jake's account to reply. There was really no need. However, a little while later, Jake sent me a message. Mia, did you just log into my account? I'm sorry, it's my fault today. I'll go scold Lilia right now. Please don't be mad, okay? It seemed Jake was truly attracted by my family's company. Otherwise, why would he be willing to turn against Lilia to appease me? I thought for a moment and replied. How could I be mad? It's all my fault. I didn't know Lilia had a bad temper, and said I always made her angry. I'm sorry, Jake replied, first sending a hug emoji then saying, You wait, I'll definitely give you an explanation. Mia, wait for me. Gross. I didn't reply to him. A little later, Jake sent me a screenshot of his chat history with Lilia. Underneath all the messages Lilia had sent, Jake had replied with one phrase. Get lost. I almost burst out laughing. Jake truly changes his tune faster than anyone. Since he was trying to curry favor himself, of course I had to leave him on red. I'd let him be itching with anticipation all night. The next day, when we returned to college campus, Jake pulled me aside. Mia, are you still mad at me? Please don't be mad, okay? I promise I won't let you be wronged again. Just then Lilia approached. I subtly tugged on Jake's sleeve. They say loyalty to your friends should always come first. Is that true? Of course not. Jake hugged me. How can a friend compare to a girlfriend? If you and Lilia had a conflict, I would definitely stand by you without hesitation. Who is Lilia anyway? Seeing Lilia scowling from not far away, I secretly felt pleased. Soon it was training time. Jake and Lilia were on different varsity teams. Lilia saw me from afar and reluctantly greeted me. When she saw Jake walking towards me with 2 energy drinks in his hand, she immediately rushed over, slapped my shoulder, and cheerfully said, Mia, what a coincidence. Oh really? I replied. What are you doing here? Jake saw I wasn't pleased and his attitude towards Lilia became harsher. Go on, get out of here. What are you doing here? Begging for food. Mia, don't mind her. Lilia patiently laughed for a bit, then casually picked up a half-empty energy drink from Jake's hand and drank it. Thanks. That wasn't bought for you. Jake glared at Lilia. Just remember to transfer the money to Mia. I never thought Jake would be able to leave Lilia speechless someday. Seeing the atmosphere become increasingly awkward, Lilia started laughing again. She slapped my back hard. We're doing a running warm-up in a bit. Want to try it? But you probably can't handle it. Girls are usually so delicate and weak, they can't keep up. Don't push yourself too hard. I'll meet you at the finish line. Are you good at running? I asked Lilia. Lilia puffed out her chest. Oh, just average. But girls these days don't work out much, so they run really slowly. I'm just like a guy. Haha. I gave a dry laugh. Lilia didn't seem too happy with my reaction. She pouted, then took to the track. She performed even better than usual. I also took to the track. Lilia stood by the finish line, seemingly waiting to see me embarrass myself. Too bad Lilia's understanding of me was too superficial. Don't be nervous, Mia. I'll be waiting for you at the finish line. Jake stood by, cheering me on. I didn't look at him. Ethan, who was a referee, told me to keep going. The starting gun fired. I ran with all my might, with only the sound of the wind in my ears. Who is that? How can she run so fast? Lilia is already known throughout the school for her speed and long-distance running, but she's even faster than Lilia. So amazing. I declare her my goddess from now on. Exactly. Lilia looks so weak compared to her. I came in first. After everyone finished running, Ethan came over and asked me, How do you feel? Not bad, I smiled. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Ethan pointed at the timer in his hand. Meng, you have a promising future ahead. At this point, Lilia's face was as ugly as it could get. She walked over and forced a smile. Mia, why didn't you tell me you were so good at running? Mia is a national second-level athlete. You, an amateur, still have the nerve to boast in front of Mia. Jake interrupted again. I wanted to tell you earlier, but you were too blind to see it and wouldn't listen to me at all. Jake even sounded a little wronged. Oh really? Lilia scratched her head. Well, Lilia doesn't meet many people, so it's normal for her to be a bit proud at first since she hasn't seen anyone as good as Mia, right? Chloe, having just rested, chimed in with a few words when she heard us talking. No harm, no foul. I cooperated with Chloe, smiling even brighter. Lilia, if you want to train for running in the future, I can help you. Lilia didn't say anything. Her face looked deflated. After the fitness test, Jake told me to meet him at a specified location that evening. He had something to tell me. Coincidentally, I didn't want to maintain this ridiculous relationship for another moment. I wanted to end things for good with him, so I agreed. That evening, I followed the address he gave me to a large restaurant called the Sterling Room. I knew this restaurant. It was backed by Sterling Holdings and was a national chain. In a corner of the restaurant, I immediately spotted Jake. And of course Lilia was sitting next to him. Mia's here. Lilia waved at me. I walked over and chose a seat opposite them. Is what you want to talk about related to Lilia? I asked Jake directly. No. Jake chuckles nervously. She just insisted on coming along. I interrupted Jake. So, is it about talking business? It's not about our relationship, is it? Although I wanted to break up with Jake, seeing Lilia made me unable to resist trying to pretend to make Lilia uncomfortable. Before Jake could speak, Lilia apologized. Oh Mia, don't blame Jake. Jake and I are used to spending time together, and he's not used to being without me. If you mind, I'll leave. Of course I don't mind, I blinked. If we're talking business, it's better to have more people, right? Jake cleared his throat and said to Lilia, you talk the most nonsense. Mia's right. This is a date between us. Why are you butting in? Lilia had a confused expression. I just happened to run into you and followed along. What's wrong with sitting here after all our history? I even saw you when you were a kid going to the bathroom. Now that you're dating, it's a huge deal. Lilia, are you out of your mind? Jake slammed the table, angrily. Are you calling me an idiot? How can childhood be the Lily he is now? Lilia also got angry. Let's clear this up today. Do you want her or me? Jake paused, saying nothing. Lilia, stop making a scene, okay? He softened his tone with a hint of pleading. All right. I clapped my hands twice. It's fine. Let Lilia sit here. Mia is so understanding, Jake said, smiling at me. I wasn't being understanding. I'd achieved my goal of getting Lilia furious. Whether Lilia stayed or not didn't matter. Besides, I seemed to have just seen Ethan. Now the real show was about to begin. Sure enough, a few minutes later, Ethan came over, carrying some dishes. Oh, what a coincidence, Ethan. Are you working a part-time job here? Jake looked like he wanted to kick someone while they're down. Ethan first greeted me, then turned to Jake. Yes, I'm just here as an hourly worker. Hourly worker? Jake said. Doesn't pay much, does it? Ethan narrowed his eyes and smiled. That's right. Lilia also leaned in and said, then you won't make much money. Yeah, no money, Ethan said. Jake, secretly pleased, raised an eyebrow and asked Ethan, want to sit for a bit? No, my hourly worker shift isn't over yet. Ethan waved his hand and left. I thought Ethan's family was rich. Lilia said with a look of disgust. Ugh, Mia, why are you hanging out with this kind of person? This kind of person? I pretended not to understand Lilia's words and asked. Lilia patted my shoulder. You know a pauper? I laughed. Yeah, I even used to like him a lot before. Lilia took a bite of steak and chugged a beer. Poor guy. I smiled subtly, my eyes glancing at Ethan. Our gazes met, and he narrowed his eyes, smiling in a way that was unreadable. It's the first time I've heard anyone call Ethan a pauper. This dinner party was definitely worth coming to. Jake, who had initially seemed to have something urgent to discuss with me, now said there was no rush, as if he was deliberately waiting for Ethan to get off work. About 20 minutes later, Ethan greeted us, preparing to leave. Jake quickly pulled him back. Come on, eat with us. We're all friends, let's hang out. Ethan didn't refuse, agreeing, still with that strangely chilling smile. In any case, Jake was probably in for a bad time. Jake eagerly served Ethan some food. This is top-notch cooking. You've probably never had it before, right? Thanks, Ethan nodded, offering no explanation. What does your family do? Lilia asked Ethan. Just a small business, nothing to talk about. Lilia covered her stomach and burst out laughing. Selling street goods, huh? Afterward, she apologized, saying, I'm just blunt, don't mind me. Of course not. Jake then said, Hey Ethan, aren't these replica limited editions? They're really well made, huh? Ethan smiled. Jake's laugh was so fake anyone could tell. I suddenly remembered. I used to have a fair-weather friend, penniless, who just wanted to find a rich girlfriend to mooch off. Guess what happened later? Jake glanced at Ethan and continued. He's now doing odd jobs in the restaurant kitchen, making $1,500 a month. I heard he got fired yesterday. So don't think you can find a rich girlfriend when you're broke, because first off, you won't even find one, right, Ethan? Ethan swirled the wine in his glass, looked up, and said, Yeah, especially someone who's dirt poor, a complete loser, and still trying to have his cake and eat it too. That's the worst. Jake was choked up and gulped down some wine. This kind of person is the most annoying. Lilia started acting out again. Speaking of which, how come you never wear a watch? Jake refilled Lilia's wine. He's out working to earn money, what do you expect? You're always hitting a sore spot. You really need to change that habit. Lilia closed her eyes and stuck out her tongue. Oops, forgot. When I'm with you, can't you cover me? I glanced at Ethan. He was smiling even more schemingly. I shivered involuntarily. The dinner party was almost over. Jake finally remembered his important matter. He handed me a ring. Mia, we've had too many misunderstandings before. I want to use this opportunity to reconcile with you. What I want to say is, will you be with me forever? Please. Lilia's eyes widened in surprise. She couldn't believe the important thing Jake wanted to talk about was proposing to me. Right, who proposes so early? He was just after my family's wealth. I smiled. I'm sorry, I refuse. Why? Jake asked, frowning. He looked at Ethan, smiling eerily, his face contorted. You're not thinking of being with him, are you? Didn't you just hear? Ethan's family has no money, a pauper. He's just after your money. I chuckled. Aren't you just after my money? At least Ethan is better looking than you. Jake, you were the one who pursued me before, right? I told you then. I didn't feel any spark for you. What did you say? You said it didn't matter, you could give it a try, and even if I didn't like you, you'd have no regrets. So I agreed. And you? You're flirting with Lilia right in front of me. You're playing games, aren't you? I scoffed at him. Mia, I know I was wrong. Will you just give me another chance? Jake pleaded with me. Lilia tugged at Jake's shirt. Why are you begging her like this? Is it embarrassing to be with me? Why are you butting in? Jake pushed Lilia away. Tears welled up in his eyes. I can't live without you, Mia. Please just give me a handout. Why should I give you a handout? Because you're broke? Because you don't have a handsome face? Or because you flirt in front of me? What does he even have? Jake frantically pointed at Ethan. He's just a pathetic hourly worker. As soon as Jake finished speaking, the hotel's Mr. Davies knocked and entered. He bowed respectfully to Ethan. Young master, I heard a commotion in the private dining room, so I came to see if you were all right. Ethan calmly glanced at Jake, who stood frozen in place. It's just someone making a drunken scene. The manager asked, do you still want the dishes you ordered earlier? Ethan pretended to consider for a moment, then asked Jake, are you guys still eating the food? Jake opened his mouth but said nothing, completely dumbfounded. Lilia wasn't doing any better. Her jaw must have been on the floor. They were so engrossed in their conversation that they hadn't even noticed the dishes that weren't on their menu being brought out. The funny thing was, the dish Jake had told Ethan to eat more of, saying he wouldn't get to eat such expensive food again, was precisely the one Ethan had ordered, and it was the priciest item on the entire menu. I guess they can't eat anymore, I said. Don't bring it out. We shouldn't waste food. All right then. Ethan indicated to the manager. The manager bowed again and left. Oh right, what were you saying earlier? Ethan crossed his legs, his hand resting on his thigh. Jake didn't speak. If I remember correctly, he was saying. I pretended to think. Just a pathetic hourly worker, right? Ethan nodded. You're absolutely right. I'm just a pathetic hourly worker. When I'm free, I come to the restaurant my dad invested in and help out. No money, I do it voluntarily. It's certainly not as good as you guys. You said your family only had a small business. Lilia exclaimed, pointing at Ethan. This is a small business? Ethan looked innocent. This project is truly nothing worth mentioning. All right, I don't have anything else to talk about with you two. Ethan pulled me up to stand. Mr. Jake, am I still qualified to be Mia's boyfriend now? Both Jake and Lilia were so shocked they could barely speak. I've already comped the bill for this table tonight, Ethan said. I hope you two will be sensible and not bother Mia again. Ethan then pulled me away. Jake and Lilia were left staring blankly at each other, dumbfounded. As soon as we reached downstairs, Lilia chased after us. Ethan, she tugged at Ethan's sleeve. I said something wrong earlier. We've been friends. You don't mind, do you? Friends. Ethan shook off Lilia's hand in feigned surprise. Are we close? Well, if we're not close, we can get to know each other. Lilia leaned in, patting Ethan's shoulder. I hang out with guys a lot, and I'm not like other girls who just cry and whine. I know what you guys like, so we should get along well. Oh, right. How about we hang out tonight? Ethan frowned and again shook off Lilia's hand. I told you we're not close. If you touch me again, I'll accuse you of sexual harassment. Lilia became agitated and started tugging at me. Mia, say something. I'm really just blunt. I didn't mean to belittle Ethan at the dinner table. I coldly shook off her hand. I agree with Ethan. I'm not close with you. Lilia opened her mouth but couldn't say a word. After a few steps, Lilia caught up again. Ethan, you might not know this, but me.he always talks bad about you behind your back. She's manipulative and fake. Are you sure you want to be with her? Stop laughing. I raised an eyebrow and looked at Ethan. Do you believe her? What do you think? We exchanged a smile. Seeing that it wasn't working, Lilia instantly lost her temper, walked up, and slapped me. What else can you do besides being flirtatious? I liked Ethan first. Why did you steal him away? Ethan, seeing this, fiercely slapped Lilia back. And I must say, that slap was hard. Half of her face swelled up. By rights, I shouldn't hit you since I'm a guy, Ethan said, narrowing his eyes and curling his lips into a smile. But since you said you're not like other girls, my hand just couldn't resist. My apologies. Also, I've wanted to ask you for a long time. When Mia and Jake were dating, why were you constantly trying to get close to him? Don't tell me it's just a bro thing. Even Lily sex bros keep their distance. What are you? You were so eager to be Jake's backup, but it's a pity, isn't it? Ethan continued. Even if you were a backup, Jake wouldn't care for you. Lilia stomped her foot, wanting to retort, but couldn't find the words to curse. She couldn't bring herself to give in, but seeing me, she really didn't want to admit defeat, so she slunk away. They should definitely stop bothering you now, Ethan said. Thanks, I said. You even had to pretend to be my suitor to help me. How about I treat you to some late-night snacks? Ethan stroked my head, a doting smile on his face. Well, if I treat you, does that make it a date? I paused for a moment. When I came to, Ethan had already bought me a cotton candy from the roadside. Here you go. Ethan handed me the cotton candy. What did you say earlier? I didn't hear it with the wind. I smiled softly. I said the pleasure is all mine.